everyone, welcome to Coffee, Love, and Books. I'm Michelle, and today I'm doing my May wrap-up. So jumping right in, I'm gonna start with the two books I DNF'd, one being Child Thief. I really wanted to, well, I started it because it really piqued my interest, but eventually it just was not very fun to read. So I just kind of gave up on it, and it was on my TBR for this month, but I just didn't really quite want to finish it. So maybe I'll end up reading it again, I don't know, but for now I'm dropping it. And then the next one is Enchantress from the Stars. I really wanted to get into this book, but I was not feeling it. I tried reading the first page and I just was not feeling this particular book at this time, but I will try to read it in the future. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna do, this is all these stacked, but these are all the bigger books. I'm gonna do the ones that I started and didn't finish, or I continued on and didn't finish. And the first one is The Ides of April. This is a historical fiction. I believe it's a middle grade. I had a lot of trouble really getting into this book, but honestly it wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I really wanted to be reading. It was for an assignment, and I ended up only making it like a few chapters in. But hopefully I'll finish it this month. It's on my TBR, but I'm not sure. And then the one for, where do I put it? The one for Latin that I am not putting on my TBR for this next month is a reread. It's called The Voice of the Wind from the Mark the Lion series. I love this book, but honestly, I didn't really want to reread something I didn't want to read something that I had already read. Then I could read brand new things that I was more excited about. So I didn't make it more than like a few pages into this one. Alright, the next one I made it about halfway through. It is Emma. I really enjoyed a lot of Emma. It's got that charming Jane Austen appeal. I'm wondering who the love interest is going to be, even though it has been spoiled. But I really like it. It's just the lack of a plot has been really hard for me to enjoy. But I am holding out hopes for Emma that it will bring on one of those Jane Austen endings and make me fall in love with it, just like I have the previous two Jane Austens that I read. And the last one that I started last month and did not finish is Frankenstein. I really have enjoyed this. I talked about it more in my last video, which was my June TBR. I really love Frankenstein. It's an awesome classic. It's very engaging, very descriptive, very epic, and I suggest you read it, especially if you want to get into more classics. Okay! Going on to the books that I finished completely this past month, with the exception of these two, but I finished Hiding Place on June 1st and Fellowship on June 3rd, so I'm going to count it because it was still within the month kind of thing. But the first one I finished this month was Tale of Two Cities. I kind of raved about this in my reading vlog. I adored the ending to this story. It was a bit of a trudge, but I think my favorite stories are the ones that are hard to get through, but when you get to the ending, man, it just ties it all together. And this one, I still need to photocopy the last page because it was just so amazing and I want to keep it in my journal or something. But I love Dickens. I loved this book. It was so intricate and beautiful and it was amazing. It wasn't fun to read a lot of the time, but it was amazing. And the next one that I finished completely was Paper Towns by John Green. It was good. I guess it was hard for me to really connect with the story. I didn't really like any of the characters, and there were weird, very teeny boy things in it that I just had a lot of trouble enjoying. But it was good. I feel like you need to read it to really form an opinion of your own. But I just didn't really love how this entire plot was devoted to this one girl's problems, and I just didn't really connect with Margot's struggle. I felt like she was kind of selfish, and I didn't really want to read a whole book devoted to her because I didn't like her. She didn't seem like a really good person. So that's just my thoughts. You'd really have to read the book. It's but I liked it, but not as much as Fault in Our Stars. I felt like that one was more deep, and this one felt more superficial, and I didn't love it as much, but it was not bad in any means. So my favorite thing about Fellowship was it gave me so much backstory onto just everything. I couldn't believe how much that abridged version had taken out. Listening to the audiobook, I'm like, they got rid of that entire storyline? Like, that was not in the abridged version, and just listening to it fully fleshed out was wonderful. It was a bit mundane at times, but all in all, it was wonderful. You get to see the beginnings of the friendships between Gimli and Legolas and Frodo and Sam, just in their budding stages, and it's amazing. And you also get to see more of Strider and the council, and I loved it. I loved getting to see that all of these things fleshed out from the abridged evil version, and it was awesome. I think it just brought a lot of, like, it's definitely the weakest out of the three. That's a pretty popular opinion. It's still a great book, but Return of the King was definitely my favorite, and Two Towers is not too far behind that, but I did really enjoy this book. Hiding Place definitely takes the cake for my favorite book of this month. And honestly, once I got far enough into this book, I sped through it. It was just so enthralling. And I think my absolute favorite thing about nonfiction is this is a real person who lived this real life. Like, this is something that actually happened. And Corey is just such an amazing person, and she and her sister are just so giving and so amazing. I feel like with many other books, the protagonists aren't as good of people, and just reading about people who are just so amazing and who I aspire to be, and just it's absolutely amazing. This book, if you don't know, it's a true story about a woman who and her family who host Jews in their house, and they have a secret wall. They are all set up to hide these Jews, and then someone betrays them, and she and her entire family are sent to prison. But I don't want to spoil the rest. I feel like I spoiled a decent amount, but that's essentially the premise. But she and her entire family are sent to prison, and then she and her sister go to a concentration camp, and just how strong they are throughout all of this, and how her sister Betsy says things like, I feel so sorry for these Nazi officers who are beating me and starving me, and just, they're amazing people. Just reading about the most incredible people ever. It's an amazing book. It's well written. It's engaging. The premise is so good. And it's a wonderful nonfiction. And I feel like I'm just going to end up going on like, oh my goodness, it was so good forever. So I'm going to end the video there. That was what I read in the month of May. I didn't do as great as finishing books, but I kind of dipped my toes into everything on my TBR, which was nice. I just wish I had closed off more books, but that's what I had for the month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave it a like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye.